Randy Kearse served 13 years in federal prison, but instead of letting the prison life defeat him, he turned his life around and turned it into something positive. Today, he is an author, motivational speaker, and mentor. In his books, he speaks of his tremendous journey and how he became a successful life coach. And if you take the subway, you might have seen him give you some insight into his life story. I'm happy to say we have Randy here to explain how he went from inmate to accomplished writer. Randy, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for allowing me to be on this show.
And it's a real pleasure to meet you and to have you here to share your story and the impact that your story from your experiences and your recovery can have either on some of our viewers or certainly somebody who our viewers may know that can help to deliver your message to them. Getting right to to your past and what basically was the basis for where you are today. I know that you had a life that was difficult, appealing on some ends because of the financial rewards, but certainly those financial rewards came to an abrupt end. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, basically, I mean, I got caught up in the whole illusion during the crack era of making fast money. Drugs themselves were really new to the Brooklyn area. I mean, Brooklyn really wasn't known for a tremendous amount of drugs at that particular time. It was more in the Bronx and Manhattan. So, I mean, as a youngster, 17, 18, 19 years old, I mean, being able to make $500, $600 in a matter of hours really was exciting. It was appealing. I mean, so I got involved in that business in the infancy of the crack era. And nobody knew at that particular time what devastation that this drug would have on the community. And like so many other young black males, I mean, we just thought that we can accomplish more getting instant gratification, getting that instant money, than working for it. I mean, we've seen our parents going to work. I come from a two-parent household. My mother was a teacher. My father worked for transit. So, I mean, I did have a good upbringing, you know, with good morals and values that would keep me going to live a good life, you know, later on. But, I mean, to see them struggling sometimes, even with a two-income household, I mean, it just made you want to get what you wanted right then and there, and that's what happened.
Yeah, faster and easier. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
But as you experienced that faster and easier life, actually came to a rather abrupt end.
I mean, right? There's a lot of people try to glamorize this lifestyle of drug dealing and being in the street and gangs and everything like that. I mean, it might look good from the outside, but when you're actually involved in it, I mean, you don't even really realize how dangerous it is, how much you put your own life in jeopardy with the things that you're doing. I mean, I'll give you an example. When I was going to purchase the drugs, I would have to go all the way up to Spanish Harlem or to Broadway, and I would have to go into these apartments with thousands of dollars of money to buy the drugs. I mean, there was no saying that somebody might have been in there to rob me, kill me, take the money, and that would have been the end of that. So, I mean, you don't know, you put your family in jeopardy. People jealous, people are envious, people want what you have, and they're willing to harm your family member or someone in your family. So, I mean, it's a lot that comes with it. And this is the thing that I try to educate young people about, is that just because it might look a little glossy from the outside, I mean, you got your rappers talking about it, they're glamorizing this lifestyle. You got your writers who are actually writing about this lifestyle in a way that makes young people think that they can really accomplish a lot in this so-called game, because it's not a game. I mean, at the end of the day, you can lose your life, you can lose your freedom, you lose so much more than you gain that it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you lose all of that in a hurry too.
No, definitely,
I mean,
definitely,
like, when you think it's going the best, all of a sudden it collapses.
See, what happens is this lifestyle, it gives you a sense of invincibility. You think you're the man. You know nothing's going to happen to you.
Well, that goes along with youth, right?
Yeah, true.
Youth and the feeling of invincibility.
Yeah,
I know.
But when the day comes when is your number called, whether it's through the police, law enforcement, or through the Grim Reaper, then you realize that this was no game, that this was reality. I lost a lot of friends that were killed. I lost a lot of friends to prison that are going to be there for the rest of their life. And I just came home with a message that to try to educate these young people, like, you don't want to live that lifestyle.
So I know, Randy, that while you were incarcerated, you had your epiphany, and you realized that you wanted to turn this ship around.
Right.
And you wanted to do it by expressing yourself through writing,
right,
and communicating your message verbally also to others.
Right.
What was the switch that was turned on that made you make that turn?
Well, I'm a good observer, and during the course of my incarceration, I observed a lot in my surrounding, and I've seen so many people going through time frivolously. I mean, basically spending their time without preparing for the future. And then I've seen so many guys coming back to prison, go home and come back, go home and come back. So I just wanted to really give them a sense of, you know, what you can do with time is your life, no matter where you spend it at. And how you spend that time is going to determine what kind of life you have.
Sure.
So if you have a situation where you're taken out of an environment that is destructive, that is chaotic, and that's detrimental to your well-being, why not take the time to reevaluate your life, reevaluate the decisions and the choices and the thinking that got you here, and to really improve on that, better it, strengthen it. This way you don't have to make the same mistakes over and over again. So basically, this is the second book of 5 books that I've written.
Okay.
It's called Changing Your Game Plan, How to Use Incarceration as a Stepping Stone for Success. This book is about my journey. It's about the lifestyle that I used to live, the mistakes that I made, and how I was able to take those mistakes and turn them around. It's about facing adversity, the challenge to change. A lot of us have a real hard time really facing the fact that we need to make some changes in our life. And this is about my journey. This is about trying to give people, especially that are in that situation, a blueprint on what they can be doing while they're incarcerated, preparing to get out. Getting out is half the puzzle.
Sure, sure.
Is what you're going to do when you get out.
Sure.
That's the key.
Yeah. Now, this is the book that you've had experiences in trying to sell, for example, on the subway.
Yeah, yeah. I've sold that book. I sell a book sometimes on the subway.
Okay.
And I get a lot of support from New Yorkers from all different backgrounds, all different walks, races, ethnicities, because I think that as people, we like to hear stories of people who have faced that challenge, faced that adversity, and pulled themselves up, especially in this day and age now where we're going through so much financial turmoil. People's futures are in jeopardy. They don't know what's going to be on one week to the next. I mean, to hear somebody that faced 13 years, 6 months, and 2 days, and still can be optimistic about the future, who can still feel that there is a future, that can take all of that and not let that be a crutch. I mean, that's what a lot of people really really like to hear.
And people actually respect that in those folks that are able to turn their life around,
right,
and do something very positive as you're doing. So for those who would like to get this book and that might not be riding the subways, Randy, where can they get it?
They can go to my website, which is randykearse.com, www.randykearse.net. They can email me at randykearse@yahoo.com. They can see me on the train. I'm all over the place. I also, I'm a mentor, so I'm going into the schools and I'm doing workshops and I'm presenting for young people to really get this message of, you know, that your life is about choice. That's right. Your life is about choices. So I've done stuff in schools. I've done stuff with the probation department. I've done a lot of stuff in the community because at one time I used to be part of the problem. So now I'm trying to be part of the solution. And
you certainly seem to be heading that way in a full speed ahead train.
Thank you, man.
And Randy, thank you so much. I wish you continued success, really, and God bless with your efforts.
Okay. I appreciate it.